Good evening and welcome to this edition of In Focus on Whitewater Community Television's WGTV Channel 11. I'm Eric, Executive Director of WCTV. Thank you again for joining us on this week's In Focus program, where we'll, a little bit later in the program, have a chance to speak about Purdue Master Gardeners. If you are interested in doing some growing, if you've got a garden in your backyard, whether it's a large plot of land or maybe even just a container garden, we'll find out how those folks may be able to provide you with some information this summer to make your harvest just a little bit more bountiful. But we will start at this point with Reid Health and their annual, once every 3-year community health needs assessment. Hopefully I got all of those in the right order. We're being joined by Sherry Harlan, Nathan Hogg. Thank you both for joining us. This is something that in your jobs and in your life you all tend to live. And the first thing you all are trying to do is get the community to participate. But before we jump into that, let's bring some folks up to speed as to who you all are and what you all do and why you're the ones talking about this. And Sherry, we're going to start with you.
Okay. Actually, I just celebrated my 11th year with Reid Health.
Wow.
And it's been an interesting journey. I'm currently the community engagement manager, so I get to meet a lot of people, work with a lot of different groups. I like to say I can't do something I'm not supposed to do in 8 counties and 2 states because I'm easily identifiable, and so that's a good bad thing.
You're out there and you've been out there for a while doing this.
Yes. I actually started, I partnered with Reid prior to working there when I was director for minority health for Wayne County. Okay. And a lot of people thought I worked at Reid anyway, but I didn't. I was working through the state. And it was an interesting scenario because we have, when it says minority health, when we don't necessarily have a lot of minority numbers in our county. Mm-hmm. However, for social and economic issues, we qualify for a lot of different other grant opportunities. So that's how I started and came to Reid.
We're going to jump into that just a little bit more also. Mr. Hogg, you seem to be everywhere and have been since you were in high school.
Yes, sir. So my name is Nathan Hogg. This is my 5th year at Reid, and so I started when I was 16 years old in the food and nutrition department, and when Miss Sherry became the community engagement manager, I assumed the role as her intern, and so we've been working together for 5 years now. So I do a lot in the community with Reid and the different groups and the nonprofits that we have the privilege to work with.
And besides Reid, you're incredibly busy here on the Indiana University East Campus.
And a student, yes, sir.
What year in school are you?
So I'm a sophomore studying communications with a double minor in political science and public administration. Oh man, so you're going to take this chair when I give it up, right? I keep trying to find my replacement. Somebody's going to put me in a pasture at some point soon.
Sherry, let's go back a little bit for the community health needs assessment.
Yes.
Talk about what that is and why it's important to us.
So the federal government, with in 2010, nonprofit hospitals had to make sure what are you returning back to your community, and they started these requirements. Even though it took a while for to actually execute it, when all the bills were signed was really 2014. Okay. And then after that, every 3 years we do a community health needs assessment. And it's a very involved process. Mm-hmm. We look at key data, what are 10 health needs that are needed, and people just decide, well, this is what I think. But what I think is a big health need, you might disagree. Sure. Nathan might have a different idea. So we use various data points. Mm-hmm. We have. But the part that we are really here to talk about today is our community survey.
And that's where it starts, where you said what you think may be the top 3 health needs, what you think may be the top 3 health needs, what I think may be the top 3 health needs may all be different.
Correct.
So you want as many people to participate in this as possible, because you do really want as much community input
And
as
we
you can
take
get.
this very, very seriously
Absolutely.
So the survey is out there now.
because the survey is there.
Talk about how, let's start, and we're going to remind people a couple of times as we go through this.
Okay.
How do you find it?
So through all of our emails, we have the survey on there, as well as we are partnering with various groups within our service area. So hopefully in every county that we're working at, we are working with health departments and like neighborhood health centers, like WISE in the various counties. We're working with just a wide variety of people to make sure that even like live stream, you name it, we want everyone to take this. I like to say the best way is this. We have a partnership with Conduit, and they are more of a consulting company. They get the end. So you can do the survey electronically. We have the QR code, and you can scan it with your phone. Or for some people who are diehards, they're like, I want a paper copy. I'll get you a paper copy.
Okay.
You can call or send us an email to community engagement. We will get you a paper copy.
You're looking for respondents to be 18 and older, 21 and
They
older?
have to be 18 and older.
They have to be 18 and older.
Yes.
So you're trying to meet them where they are, which is why
Correct.
you all have a QR code, probably something a little bit more high school, college students and above would use. They're real comfortable with that.
I tend to work a lot more with seniors.
Which is where maybe the
so
paper
often,
copy comes in
And
a
I
little
was
bit
in a
more.
meeting just like 2 weeks ago, and the gentleman just went on a tangent. He wants a paper. He doesn't want technology. He doesn't need that. However, but Nathan, he can't even think about looking at a whole bunch of paper. So it's
That's true.
it's like, where's the QR code? So
That's right.
And for those that are floating around on websites, if they go to Reid's Health site,
you go to our site.
reidhealth.org.
Especially on our Facebook page, you can just click on and take the survey right there.
Okay, so
And
Facebook,
I also want to make sure
website,
people
whatever.
realize this is so important. When I try to share with people, it is how important it is to do our survey. It's it's monitored. We're watching it. We want your input. You probably are going to get a lot more input than if you said something nasty on Facebook. That's not going to get you a quick response, but this really is going to get the response I think that people want to see.
How is this, and let's go back 1 second, because when people take a survey, they're very concerned about their privacy. So I want to go back to Conduit,
Right.
because they're the ones who are actually seeing these responses. And
Yes.
I took the survey last night. I wanted to have it before I did it. You all say it takes 8 to 10 minutes. Took me just a little bit longer than that, but I had to stop and really think about what my top 3 were.
Right.
So I was probably more in the 12 or 13 minute range, but that was just me, while I
Okay.
sipped a cup of coffee and did mine. It really is probably, generally speaking, an 8 to 10 minute, but nowhere on there are people really asked a lot of private information that will be shared.
Now, there is an option, I know in the paper copy, there's an option that we are going to have 4, I think, $50 gift
Yes.
cards.
Yeah.
And at the bottom of it, you can just put Eric M, and your phone number. We don't get that. But from that, it'll be Eric M took the survey, and then you're entered to win one of the $50 gift cards.
And I just want to highlight as well, we take patient privacy very serious. These are completely confidential. We do not know who said what. For anybody that's wondering, your privacy is protected at all costs.
Talk about the type of things that are being asked. Talk about how this gets broken down a little bit once you get the responses. And the first thing, again, to remind people, they really need us to respond. You may say Reid Health doesn't know what's going on or whatever thing you have out there. This is your chance to actually make your feelings known about what some of the top health issues are, and then you all do what with it once you get that information back.
So when we get that information, then it's compiled. And then also there is a community well-being committee, and some of the people are Reid governing board members, and then there are just other community leaders that are invited in and to speak, and not to necessarily speak, but their input. So we're looking at what can actually be funded, what was what people thought were the greatest need, and then we analyze it. So is it something, maybe somebody wanted a target, I don't know.
Okay.
But a target is not we can't determine if Target's coming here or not.
Right.
But if they saw something bad in, like, heart attack and stroke, that's something more that we could address.
This is a health need.
So it's an
assessment.
actual health
Well,
need.
some people may think Target having one would aid their health.
But it's
That's not quite the way this would work.
That's not how we look at it. So then the first thing is when we look at the primary data, and that's like from community input, the community surveys. We have key informants. I've had the luxury, I've been on both from when I was outside of Reid and inside of Reid. So when I was director for Minority Health, I would have a different hat on, but I was part of the key informants, as well as then just different focus group discussions that are had. Then we look at what are the pressing health issues. Was it alcohol? Is it mental health? Is it substance misuse? Is it affordable care to get insurance? Or maybe it's just nutrition. But we look at those as well.
There's even a question about transportation.
Right.
In there,
so
which
then
can
the
be
last
a
thing is
health
we're
thing.
looking at quality of life. Health. Is it hard to eat healthy? Often you just don't go to the dollar menu and get healthy food often. So,
And we also want to highlight food deserts in our community too. That's something that is, prevalent here in Wayne County, and so we want to work to address that, or work with organizations that are committed to helping that process. So, for example, Wayne County has one of the highest food insecurity rates in the state of Indiana, and we give money to Gleaners, the food bank, and we're a huge sponsor, a huge supporter of Gleaners, and we help stabilize them here in Wayne County. And so that's some of the different things that Reid Community Engagement does,
including part of the team, with the exception of me. They actually help load.
We volunteer.
They
help load
volunteer
it up.
every month.
Yep.
I've seen Andrew Hoover
Yes.
out there. I know you're out there, and you all have a
Yes.
team of
Right.
people
Of people,
who
correct.
are focused on really engaging the community where they are, whether it's the farmers markets or you all are at most fairs, festivals, and events that are going on, trying to talk to the community, provide them with resource information and that type thing also, right?
Yeah,
Correct.
everything that, if we're at an event or something and there's been a complaint, I know, speaking for Sherry and I, we take that information very seriously. And for a lot of it, we're advocates. We are the face of Reid. People see us, we're prevalent in the community, and we're advocates for our patients and our community members.
Where does your partnership with other not-for-profits come in? Reid's not able to handle everything. You all have a list, you all break it down to the top few, but that's not something that Reid can handle in and of itself. So how do you all partner with organizations, and is this survey part of how you all make the decisions as to who or how you partner with people?
Correct. I'll give you an example. In the 2019 Community Health Needs Assessment, which has been running since 20, 21, 22, the top 3 health needs were mental health and substance misuse,
Okay.
physical activity, nutrition and weight, and adverse childhood experiences, ACEs. However, in 2022, it's still mental health and substance misuse, the physical activity, but ACEs was replaced with maternal and children's health.
And so we work with nonprofits, or we're dedicated to working with nonprofits who are working to address those specific needs. And so one of the examples is in Dublin, there's a community center. And so we gave them some support to build a community center.
Not to build, but
to you know what I mean.
build.
Not build, but to get the community center up and running,
Yeah.
and to provide resources for it. Another example is we helped with the Wayne County Family Resource Center, and so we give resources to those. We volunteer down there, and so we're really active in our community, and we're dedicated to helping the nonprofits because they can't handle the challenges all alone.
And they need some guidance in some ways
Correct.
as
Absolutely.
to how they connect with people, who they connect with, and they need funding. And that's part of what comes out of Reid Community Benefit
Right.
also.
And the biggest thing is that when we see a problem, as well as to making sure that that nonprofit is viable, that they can deliver what they say they're going to do, as well as and they become our partners, and we really work with them on how are they making it to the next step. What should be their key point. For example, another thing is like a better way. Then we were able to come up with a fund for a teen support group.
Okay.
And how they work together. So within each area, there's ways to work with the different partners.
You're watching In Focus on Whitewater Community Television's WGTV Channel 11. We're spending time with Sherry Harlan, Nathan Hogg, talking about Reid Health Community Needs Assessment. It is done once every 3 years. The survey is open, and they are looking for, begging for, pleading for. Am I overstating this a little bit?
No.
Community input. That's really what they're looking for right now. You can find this survey at various places online. You can go to reidhealth.org. It's the Reid Health website. At the very beginning, at the very top of that page, in an orange strip, it will take you to the survey. There are paper surveys around. Are there not-for-profit organizations that you all partner with who also have copies of these when they are
Absolutely.
out?
Yeah.
I know Birth to Five is really helping us a lot. So, but for the most part, we really are pushing the QR codes.
We're working with different nonprofits
Yeah.
in the community. I have a whole bunch of flyers. I've been to different restaurants, different nonprofits, table tents. We're at the hospital. We're at all these different events handing out the survey. So we're dedicated to making this an amazing experience to help our community members.
Because the more input we get, the better.
Yes.
The better the survey, the better you
Right.
know that the information you're getting is real and it can be broken down, shared. And how is this shared with the community? After all is said and done,
Right.
how do we find out
So
what the top
if you'll
3
go
needs are?
to the Reid Health community engagement page, we have lots and lots of data.
Okay.
I use a lot of it for my homework, and so I did a speech on food insecurity and highlighting the food deserts in Wayne County, and I went on readcommunities.org and pulled up the community health needs assessment, and it gave me a ton of data. I used my whole presentation through that data, so very, very good information. If you're applying for grants, you can look at the website and get information through your grants, and I mean tons and tons and tons of information.
And I think that may be what some people also are looking to find out. Are
Right.
we just filling this out so that it can go in a drawer for a short
No.
period
No,
of time?
no.
No. And what happens, we do it every 3 years because we are constantly looking what happened in 2016, who did we fund, what worked well, what didn't work, how to craft that, as well as if in 2016, what did we have, and who benefited, who didn't. So then by so we're constantly like reviewing.
Looking
And
at
we're like in the 2019.
Right.
What's going on for that? So this will determine 26 to 28.
Okay. As you, in particular, Sherry, because you mentioned you've seen this from both sides. You were working for Minority Health, then you transitioned to working for Reid Health. You've seen this on the community side. You've seen this from the Reid Health side. Talk a little bit about how a not-for-profit working with people connects with Reid to use this information to further their missions. Is it easily accessible to them? And then is it easy to connect with Reid in terms of the community benefit or the community engagement group to get the support that they need?
I'll use my favorite example, that when I was with Minority Health, I worked with the state, and we had to do something in the community, and you needed at least 7 people. And I was able, and that's how I came up with Medical Monday. And
Okay.
we just celebrated our 15th year.
That's amazing.
And we've got people that have been coming for 15 years every month, even when we had to stop during COVID. And we've actually grown. We've got a lot more. Some of them, I think they came just because they felt sorry for me. And I'd talk them to death if they didn't show up. So, and now we have expanded.
Over 60 guests every month.
Every month. And we also have Thriving Thursday in Fayette County. So
And it's hard to believe that somebody doesn't know what Medical Monday is, but
Medical
talk about
Monday
what it
is
is
a
and where it
community
is.
education program it's paid through Reid Community Benefit. It's one of the programs. And it started off, I had gotten a grant to help with Medical Monday. And then after I started working at Reid, we wrote it into our community education, one of our community education programs, where we try to have different physicians and different health leaders come in to speak. We've added a new part that people who have received our community benefit grants come in and talk for what they've done with their money and how it's helped their organizations. It's a double benefit because they're getting their word out, the nonprofit, as well as the attendees from Medical Monday or Thriving Thursday are finding things that are proper to their
needs.
Their needs as well as their actual community. So they're like, oh, I never knew that. So
it's word of mouth,
been
word of
worked out
mouth.
really well.
Medical Monday actually happens, obviously, on a Monday.
On the second Monday. Second
And-
Monday, 1 o'clock.
Central
Where?
United Methodist Church.
Do you need a invitation to show up? You
No,
just-
we usually advertise it on the Reid site. I advertise it, Nathan advertises. I just need, and we provide a free lunch. So I need to know who's coming, so make sure you get a free lunch.
And RSVP, and you can do that by calling the office. What's your extension number?
4676.
Okay. Whitewater Community Television also for the last year and a half or so has been recording Medical Monday. We know that that's a time when a lot of people work, but it's great information. So you can actually see Medical Monday evenings at 8:30 on our Education Access Station, Channel 20. If you've got Comcast cable, you can also find it on our YouTube page. It is normally about a 50-minute program.
50,
By the time we get to it, it goes a little bit longer for you. You've got giveaways that you do and things of that nature, and passing along additional information. And part of all of this is about making things easily accessible to the
Right.
community, information, resources, things of that nature. You also host a program called Let's Talk Together. Talk about that program, and are some of your guests decided again out of this community needs assessment?
Because there's a need. We see if we have requests. So Let's Talk Together. We airs Thursday, 8
Yes.
o'clock, Channel 20. But I've been doing it like 6 years, and we have a variety of guests, anywhere from physicians to, we just had Kelly Cruz Nicholson, who spoke with her journey and her mom with Alzheimer's. That went off very well because sometimes I have to remind some of our physicians, you might not want to talk about what you learned at the latest medical conference. Let's take it down a notch. So I always try to say, think that you're talking to your friend at Walmart, and maybe don't use such challenging words, but what everybody can understand. And so that helps.
Okay. A couple of ways that you can see that show again. It is available on WETV Channel 20, Thursday nights, 8 p.m. It's also available on the Whitewater Community Television YouTube page. We've probably got about 3.5 or so minutes left, according to the voice in my head. So I want to give each of you a chance to talk about maybe something I haven't asked you about or we haven't had a chance to hit. Nathan, I'm going to kind of start with you. You're coming at this really in kind of a different way. Mm-hmm. Talk about how you've grown in your time working with Reid and what you've seen this community engagement piece and this community health needs assessment means to the folks in the service area. And the service area, we should say, is 6 counties here in Indiana, as well as 2 counties, Preble and Darke, in Ohio. So 8 counties total are being asked to take this survey.
Well, I would say, definitely for one, I've seen the department grow massively. When we first started community, it's always been community outreach, but it's always just been Sherry. And so when she became the community engagement manager, there was a bigger need. We saw the department growing. And so to watch it go from me and Sherry to now we have a team of 5 or 6 in a matter of 3 or 4 years, that just is a true testimony to what the needs are out in the community. And I'm so thankful to work for an employer that understands the community needs and listens to those needs, because it's just critical, because obviously we're in 8 counties, and so Sherry and I can't be in every county. We try our best, but I'm thankful that we have a team that is worked so well together. We do Shoes for Kids, and so we worked with just different counties, and that allowed me to work with counties that I've never had the opportunity to work with. And so it's just an amazing experience to be in this role and to be so young, and like the multi-generational relationship that I have with Sherry. I'm able to keep her up to date with what's going on right now, and hey, I'm doing this at IU East, I want Reid to be part of it, and for them to always say yes and to always give me a seat at the table to express the needs of people my age has been nothing short of a blessing, and I'm so thankful for that.
What haven't I asked you? What do you want to make sure that you hit that you want to remind people about?
I have a really unique relationship within our department. I'm now the old lady at work, but but I've learned so much, because with Nathan, everything's going to be his phone, and he can get different little things. But then I might share something. He's like, "What's that mean?" And I'm like, "Oh, let me explain that to you." So it's been interesting, because the rest of our department is like 20, 30, and I'm a couple decades older than them. So it's been a learning experience for me. But I hope they get to learn things from me as well. Then Nathan has taken on like the role of a child I never had. So just we've worked so closely together. So my friends think it's absolutely hysterical, because he didn't do what I thought he was going to do today, but he's a good kid.
Yeah.
So it's been just a learning, but also I've been at Reid long enough to see different changes and how we implement things, different departments, how they change things, how they do it, just back from feedback from the community. And I can't share enough how much we need you to take this community health needs assessment.
And this is my first community health needs survey that I'm a part of, and so I've been pushing it on campus. I've been pushing it to my friends, and I'm thankful that they're taking the survey, because their needs are important, and we want to make sure that those needs are addressed.
This is on YouTube, so if you are in Darke, Fayette, Franklin, Henry, Preble, Randolph, Wayne, or Union counties, you can take this survey. It's very easy to find. Reid Health has it on social media. They have it on their website, reidhealth.org. If you just go there, it's at the very top of the page. Facebook page, other social media, Instagram. There are QR codes, there's paper ballots, there's websites
you can
that you
go
can fill it out.
Restaurants and find it. I mean, just anywhere. It's plastered everywhere.
You can email Nathan or I, or just regular community. I believe it's under community benefit.
Yeah, community benefit at reidhealth.org.
Yeah.
There you go. They want your input. They're asking for your input. They're begging for your input. So help them out with the Community Health Needs Assessment, reidhealth.org, and other places. We're going to be back talk to the master gardeners about what we're going to grow and eat this summer as we continue with In Focus on WGTV, Channel 11.
At Richmond Power and Light, we're dedicated to serving our community and restoring power during storms, no matter the time or day. We understand that losing power is inconvenient and frustrating, which is why we offer the quickest and easiest way to report an outage through SmartHub or by calling. Stay informed about the latest outage updates by following us on Facebook. Trust Richmond Power and Light to provide you with reliable and efficient service.
And welcome back to In Focus on Whitewater Community Television's WGTV Channel 11. Thank you very much for staying with us. I'm Eric, and we've changed out the guests in the studio, added a chair, and we're going to talk about things that we're going to grow and eat, hopefully, with master gardeners. This is, now if you're looking for them on Facebook, you want to look for Wayne County Master Gardeners. This is really a Purdue program, which is why Jonathan Ferris, who we normally talk to around fair time, is into something else. But if you look up Purdue Master Gardeners on Facebook, you're going to get a whole nother group of people, and Jonathan is going to kind of help explain why that's the case. My guests for this segment, Jonathan Ferris with Purdue Extension, Gail Davis with Wayne County Master Gardeners, and Beth Treaster with Wayne County Master Gardeners. I've had a chance to talk to all of these folks about something completely different than this in the past. So thank you all for being here for this.
Sure.
Thank you.
Jonathan, your Purdue Extension, this is a Purdue program. Give us a little bit of background on Purdue. Is it Purdue Master Gardeners?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
It is funny. The nomenclature has changed over the years. They used to just call them Indiana Master Gardeners.
Okay.
Well, as you might guess, Purdue decided that they want to get credit for this, so they changed the name to Purdue Master Gardener. So, yeah, it has kind of a long, rich history. But really the intent of Master Gardeners is to equip volunteers to then go into the community and teach horticultural trainings and workshops, presentations, seminars, that kind of thing. And basically, you know, there's only one of me.
Right.
So I can only do so much in the community, but with ladies like this and some of the other folks we have working, it just multiplies what we can do in the community as far as reaching people and helping them with horticulture and gardening questions and that kind of thing. It actually goes back to the 1970s. The first Master Gardener program was started by Washington State University Extension in 1973.
Okay.
So, and then it wasn't until about 5 years after that Purdue had their first Master Gardener program. And now, as of last year, we have a little over half the counties, a little over 50 counties in the state that have active Master Gardener programs.
Okay.
And we're proud to be one of those.
Nice. And that's why I say if you look them up on Facebook, you can obviously hit someone else, because I did that the first time. Didn't realize, finally started looking at the addresses and going, okay. What is your role in terms of this particular program?
Yeah, so I function as the county coordinator, which means I coordinate the annual trainings. Trainings consist of a 14-week program. It's one night a week for 14 weeks, 3 hours each night.
Ooh.
So it's a commitment.
Yeah.
And there is an exam at the end of it.
I'm out.
A lot of people just, they get real nervous about that. But there is an exam. And then when they pass the exam, they have a calendar year to get in 40 volunteer hours. And the volunteer hours need to be educational in nature. So I tell people it's not like you're going to your neighbor's house and weeding their vegetable garden for them. That doesn't count. But if you're teaching them what are weeds in your garden and maybe how to control them and or how to work on the plants that you want to have in your garden, if it's educational, it would count. So that's kind of the process to become a master gardener. So I'm responsible for pulling together that annual training, getting guest speakers. I usually teach 4 or 5 of the sessions, and then I bring in guest speakers who have specialty areas, and like vegetable production or turf grass and those kind of things. I bring them in and coordinate the training, and then afterwards I oversee the online portal where they enter their hours, and I have to approve those hours and make sure they've got their paperwork all in line and that kind of thing with Purdue.
You mentioned this has been going on since the 70s and forward. At what point was this really started in Wayne County, and how is it grown?
Well, it's interesting. I've been here for 12 years. Almost 13 years, but I've been with Purdue for 28, and I can remember years ago, one of my predecessors, Ed Heckman, had a Master Gardener class, and that would have been probably in the early 2000s. So my guess is that was one of the first classes that was held. It has not been held every year since then. There was a long gap where there was no Master Gardener active training going on. I revived it a few years ago. We've had several trainings in Wayne County to various success. But the last couple that we've just had excellent groups of people that are gung-ho, they're all about it, they're all in, giving up their time and expertise. So we're really excited.
Gail, talk about what brought you to this program, and were you a gardener previously, just something that interested you, and what have you learned through this?
Oh my goodness, those are great questions, Eric. So I was originally from Pennsylvania. I moved here 4 years ago, but I knew Penn State had a phenomenal Master Gardener program, and where I lived in Pennsylvania, they had a clinic in the spring, in the summer, in the fall, where they had massive workshops on all these different great programs. I participated as much as I could, but I did not have the time availability to become a Master Gardener per se, because as Jonathan was saying, numerous weeks, 3 hours a week, I did not have that time. I moved here and I found that my time freed up a little bit, and I've always had a love of gardening. So I live in historic Old Richmond. I have a very small plot of land, and I thought, let's make the use of every spot of land I have. So I have raised beds, I have a container garden, I've even taken over part of the sidewalk sharing. Then I heard about the Master Gardener program, and I said, sign me up. It's the right time, right place, right channel. And it was coming out of COVID, the pandemic, and I signed up 2 years ago. And I had all these grandiose ideas. Poor Jonathan. I said, hey, can we do this? Can we do that? Because I was coming from Pennsylvania with Penn State. And I said, can we do this? Can we do that? And he was just humoring me. But because I've seen how a group could really be dynamic. After we finished the class, we had really connected many of the students together. We approached then Becky Thompson over at the Senior Center, Richmond Senior Recreation Center, and said, hey, Becky, can we do something here? And sure enough, it started to evolve. So I think we can really blow Penn State out of the water with what we've done with the Senior Center.
What brought you to this, Beth?
I'm a lifetime gardener and had already taken horticulture classes at Ivy Tech. I read anything on gardening, farming, horticulture. I read all the new books coming out, and I was feeling like, I don't know where else to go to learn anything. I have a head full of knowledge. And then this opportunity for the Master Gardener came up, and I thought, I'll go and see, but I bet I won't learn much. Well, I did. I learned a lot.
It's amazing, right?
Yes, I will say it's a great program whether you have experience or not. I've gotten to be friends with somebody in the latest class who had never gardened in her life. And she and I agreed that the Master Gardener program works at every level, experienced or not. And so it's been a lot of fun for me. The best part has been meeting like-minded people. We have a great time.
We've developed real camaraderie, real friendships. It's a real community.
What did you all do to fulfill your 40 hours? It has to be educational, which means you have to be teaching, helping people. How did you all fulfill your 40 hours?
Well, the classes at the senior center, which is Gail's brainchild, but we also have displays at various events like the Cope or Hayes Earth Day.
The farmers market.
And the farmers market. And I'm going to be set up at the Earlham Wellness Fair in a couple weeks and that kind of thing. Also, we're open to more of those kind of opportunities. Do you have somebody who wants to learn about gardening? Let us know. Another member of our group, Jody, teaches at one of the schools. She teaches a class at Hibbert.
At Hibbert, right.
Yeah.
Right.
As you all have begun to be out more, because it's just been over the last couple of years this has grown, are you finding that interest in people who are trying to grow, whether it's container, whether it's raised bed, whether they just decided they don't want to mow their yard anymore, so they're just digging it up? How much of that is actually going on for the average resident?
Well, it's funny that you say that because living in Old Richmond, my husband said to me, Gail, we have a very small yard. I do not want to have a lawnmower. So we do not own a lawnmower.
Okay.
We do not. So the mandate given to me is take it over. So I've got vegetables, I've got perennials, I've got all different things, different types of grasses. But as a result of having some raised beds out back and container gardening, I've expanded now to the street. So the area between the sidewalk and the street, I call it a sharing garden where I have perennials, a pollinator garden, but I also have vegetables. And I've met over 100 people that have come by because I have little bags that are there for people to pick the tomatoes, pick the cucumbers, pick the zucchini, the peppers. I have had over 100 people come by, say, thank you, I really want to know more about gardening. I've had people find out, oh, kale, I can actually eat it. It's not just for prettiness in the garden. And I've been teaching. So to make a long story short, people are really interested in gardening. They're asking for more.
How does somebody join one of your classes? How often are they held? Is this a twice a year, once a year?
Yeah, so we've been doing it once a year.
Okay.
The last couple of years, it's been in the fall from about mid-September till middle of December. And that's just because of my timing, and there's no real reason why it has to be that way, but that's how we've done it. We wrap up before the Christmas holiday season. That gives us our 14 weeks. But really the way to get involved is just to reach out to the Extension office. They can get a hold of me. Our phone number, 765-973-9281. They can email me. And what I do, when somebody, I prefer email, because then I create a folder, and all those emails I stick into a folder. People throughout the year that have expressed an interest. Then when it comes time to advertise the class, I generate an email to all those folks. And the Master Gardeners, this group of ladies, last year helped me create this year's class. They, at all their events...
We're starting for next year's class already.
Yeah, I'm sure. I have no doubt.
They're running ahead of
So
you.
they collected a ton of names and addresses and emails. I think I had over 50 names of people that I sent stuff out to.
Okay.
And some of them couldn't make it because of the timing or whatever, but I'll send it out again next year for those that didn't take the class. And so we start doing that usually late July, early August. We'll send out information and get people registered for the class. There is a fee for the class that covers the cost of the manual and those sort of things. But it's a pretty easy process to get registered.
As you all are doing this, now you've mentioned your classes at the Richmond Senior Center. Talk a little bit about what those are like, how often they're held. Is it a regular schedule of things?
Well, we've evolved from twice a month to now once a month. We've solidified once a month. So the third Wednesday of every month, we're at the Richmond Senior Recreation Center. So from 11 to 12:15, we're there. But it's then also followed by a plant-based empowered pitch-in. And then I also do a wellness class at the Senior Center. So think of Wellness Wednesdays as being the day to come out to the Senior Center. You can go any other day too, but that's the time slot, so the third Wednesday. But coming up in April, we've taken over the Senior Center for the whole entire day. Shall I tell you about Earth Day?
Let's hold on to that for just a minute. Now, you mentioned before we went on the air, because I knew about the Richmond Senior Center, you mentioned this is also being done at the Centerville Senior Center.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about when that takes place.
We've been doing those on the fourth Thursday, and they haven't been every month. It's just when there's, like we did a houseplant class in January because everybody needs something to cheer them up in January. So eventually that'll be a more set schedule. But if they can always check the Senior Center Facebook page to see when our next classes are there.
And that's what I was going to ask. How do people keep up with, if it's not a regular thing, how do people keep up with that information? Can they reach out? And again, we want to send you to their Facebook page as much as we can. Wayne County Master Gardeners on Facebook. There's no other social media involved with this, correct?
This is all volunteer run, so we're lucky that we have enough time to do this with all of our programs that we're doing. But yes, they can find out what we're doing.
Fortunately, Gail is quite techie. I could care less. Just let me get my hands in the dirt and tell you about it. So we're a good team.
We are a great team, yes.
Earth Day, you mentioned you're taking over the Richmond Senior Center for Earth Day coming up April 23rd.
April 23rd.
Okay.
It's a Wednesday because during the week, who does anything for Earth Day? But we do. And now when I say seniors, the Senior Center, Eric, it's age 50 and above. So do you consider a 50-year-old a senior? Well,
I'm not going to travel that.
Right. So anyway, it's 50 and above, but the seniors last year that came out, we had a few hundred that came out last year. It was the first time we did it.
No.
They actually brought their kids and grandkids, and they said, oh, this is allowed. I'd love to do this. So this year we're actually doing some classes, some recycling, repurposing, regifting type of classes with building garden treasures and different crafts with recycled items. We're hoping that they'll bring out their kids and grandkids for that too. So as we're solidifying the schedule, but we have a full day from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. of activities at the Senior Center. Really, not 9 o'clock is when we're launching everything, but so we have tree giving. We have 200 trees that the Parks Department is going to give out to the first 200 attendees. Oh. We have workshops for everything, whether it be composting or rain barreling or soil conditioning or soil testing or raised bed gardening. What are some of the other workshops? Pruning and microgreens. We have everything imaginable running concisely throughout the whole day. We also have, the Senior Center is also going to be having some food available during lunchtime, but they're also going to set up tables in the hallway to bring your recycled items, your gifts, your repurpose things. And one man's treasure, one man's junk is another man's treasure. And then anything that's left over will be donated to Central Indiana Rehab, because they'll be also doing a workshop too, as is Soil and Water. They're doing a workshop, as is Sierra Taylor. She's doing one on kitchen herbalism, as is Mr. Ball B-Man. Mr. Toshlog, Jerry Toshlog, is going to be talking about pollinators. It's the place to be, and it's free on April 23rd.
That's a lot to fit into 6 hours.
It is.
And you all are going to get it in.
Yes, yes.
All right. That's coming up on April 23rd. You're watching In Focus on Whitewater Community Television's WGTV Channel 11. We're speaking with Beth Treaster, Gail Davis, and Jonathan Ferris, part of the Master Gardeners program coming out of Purdue Extension. Talk about what some of your Wednesday workshops are like, the type of things that you all are able to actually teach people in that hour, and how hands-on is it? Are people bringing you their plants and going, it looks a little yellow, what did I do?
Well, why don't you share about yesterday? There was a great one.
Yesterday was on starting seeds indoors. So first we had one of our members share about her seed shed. She has a building just for storing seeds.
Oh my.
And then we had another member talk about grow lights for starting plants indoors. And then I led an activity of, we have a small budget from our fundraising efforts where we can buy supplies. So everybody was provided little planter things and soil and seeds, and they all got to plant something to start now.
Playing in the dirt.
Yeah, tomatoes, cucumbers, that kind of things, the things you start early inside your house. So everybody had something to take home and had plenty of time to ask questions, and we have such good visits after our presentations, because then everybody's like, well, I tried this and it didn't work, and we get a lot of brainstorming going on. So it's fun.
We've done things on indoor house plants. I love my indoor house plants, so I did a workshop on that. How to propagate plants. We did at, I guess it was October, the fall, we did a succulent workshop where we had resin pumpkins that we carved out, and then we put succulents in it, and so they had centerpieces. We've had one on African violets. We've had
Christmas plants.
right. So everything imaginable. Oh, winter jugs. So how to take how to take a milk jug and do winter sowing. How to create a little greenhouse. Cut it open. Do your planting. Put it outside, and you've got seeds that are ready to grow.
You're watching In Focus on Whitewater Community Television's WGTV Channel 11. We're speaking with Jonathan Ferris, Gail Davis, Beth Treaster, Wayne County Master Gardeners on Facebook. Now, I do have to say there is, besides just passing along information, which is what we try to do here on In Focus, the other reason that these folks are here is that they have agreed to I think they told you, right? They have agreed to periodically come back and be part of our In Focus program during the course of the next few months, where they will take a 10-minute time out and just kind of help us with some ideas. Talk to us a little bit about some of the questions that are being asked, and we may ask you to send in questions ahead of time, but just talk about growing. There seems to be so many folks that are trying to grow. I know I've got areas in my backyard where I'm trying to grow things. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Folks are trying to be a little bit better about it, so they will be in and out of In Focus over the next few months, kind of giving us some information that will help you be a better gardener. They're going to share what they know. It's that education thing that they have to do. So first of all, thank you all for agreeing to do this. But I think some people want to know, what are some of the do's and don'ts that you all can and can't do? We had a conversation before, and you all can't just say everything that you do. There are rules that have to be followed with this, correct?
That's correct.
Being part of Purdue, you all have a reputation.
Yeah, so, and they may want to add to this too, but they are not laborers, so they're not going to come weed your garden, as I referenced earlier.
Yep.
But they can teach you how to do those things. So other than that, I mean, as long as it's educational in nature, and we could get creative with how we make things educational. In fact, one example is if somebody was going to do a garden tour, like for their own garden, like Gail's backyard, if she was to create signage and put that out, that kind of thing, all the time that she spends doing that would count towards her hours, as long as she's working on an event. So do you want to add anything to that,
Sure.
Gail?
Exactly. I think what Eric's also asking too is, as we're giving advice to people, we have to follow Purdue's guidelines. Yes, I've sometimes put cinnamon on my plants. Does it work? I don't know. Is it sanctioned by Purdue? Not really. So when I'm teaching what works, what doesn't work, I have to really reference the Purdue gardening bulletins. And as per Purdue, as per the science, as per the proof. So I think that's what you're asking for.
Yes.
So
because I think people want to know that the information that they're getting is credible. It's credible, yes.
And that's really what separates, I think, Purdue Extension from a lot of the things that you find on the internet, right? There's a lot of people selling you things online. We're not selling anything. We're just giving you research-based information. That's part of the Extension land grant mission. So.
Where does this go? How do you all spend your summers with this? How much time will you be out? Will you be easy to find? She's laughing. It's like every minute, right?
Oh my goodness, already.
Well, another thing that we do as our Master Gardener group is fun educational things together. And for example, in 2 weeks, we're going to one of the Amish greenhouses, one of the wholesale greenhouses, not the retail ones that people are familiar with, where they are shipping in the slips from Guatemala and growing them out to the plants that you see in the greenhouses. So we're going to do that kind of educational for our group. It's another plug for why somebody might want to be a Master Gardener. But this summer, we'll continue to teach our classes.
We have a full summer schedule.
Yeah.
Okay.
And do our own gardening.
And do our own gardening, right.
Have you two reached the point, you finished your 40 hours, I
Oh,
assume.
yes.
You
Oh,
all
yes.
are master gardeners. Is there another group that's coming in behind you right now that you all are helping to train?
I guess you could
Yes.
say we're mentoring the newest class that graduated in December.
Yes.
And they are a love. We're just having such fun, and they're integrating very well. So as we plan our workshops, we have a senior master gardener, a seasoned one, and then we have the newbies on the block, and they're learning how it's done.
Yes, we don't take any new graduate and say, do this class.
Throw
We-
them into the fire.
Right, we let them work with somebody and then eventually they'll want to do their own classes.
We've got about 2.5 minutes left. I'm just going to go around. Is there something I haven't asked you about Purdue or Master Gardeners that you really want people to know about?
Eric, I think you did a great job of covering it. Like I said, if people are interested, they can reach out to us on our Facebook page, or they can reach out to the Purdue Extension office in Wayne County, or stop in and see me sometime. I've got literature on Master Gardeners. Be glad to share with you.
About 1.5 minutes left. What do you
It's
got?
okay to make a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes,
mean?
as I tell people, not all plants will like me or will like you, and some may die on you, and that's okay, but you'll learn how to create a better environment for the next generation.
Nice.
Yes, and people who say they're black thumb, that's just lack.
I've never heard that. I've heard
Oh.
green thumb. I haven't heard black
Oh, yeah,
thumb.
they say.
Or
well,
brown thumb even,
Yeah,
yeah.
I always kill plants. I can't grow anything. It's just a matter of experience and knowledge, and anyone can learn that. And we love to help people gain in confidence to grow.
What's your favorite plant to grow?
Fruit. I'm
Fruit?
all about fruit. I have 19 different kinds of fruit in my yard.
Really? Such as?
Oh, raspberries, blackberries, cherries, pears, grapes, pawpaw, quince. I'm trying to remember them all.
my. Okay.
In a very tiny yard.
In a very tiny yard. What's your favorite to grow?
Oh
Because
my
it sounds like you're growing a lot.
I'm growing a lot. I love my house plants, but I'm also enjoying outdoors with my vegetables and my kale. I'm a kale person through and through.
Jonathan, you're the teacher. You're,
Oh
you're
boy,
the big guy.
I'm one of those do as I say, not as I do kind of people. I am not a gardener by training. My wife fancies herself a gardener, but we like to go to the Amish produce auction and buy stuff in bulk, and then she cans it. That's how we grow.
Thank you all very much for being here. This will not be the last time that you see these folks in various iterations talking about various different things, from microgreens to growing to plant lights. If you have questions, that you can obviously put it on their Facebook page. If you want to send it to us, WCTV at iu.edu, and we will pass that along to them, and we will get them answering questions for us coming up here. It's a little early to put things in the ground. What's the earliest somebody wants to put something in the ground right now?
Oh, I already have peas up.
Okay. There's a lot for us to learn. So Beth Treaster, Gail Davis, Jonathan Ferris, thank you all very much for being here, and we look forward to talking with you throughout the growing season.
Thank you, Eric.
Thanks.
Thank you for watching this week's edition of In Focus on Whitewater Community Television's WGTV Channel 11. As always, I wish you well.